I'm excited to welcome you guys on to the second episode of What Coaches Think High School Edition. We have three great coaches here. We have Coach Cook from Hamilton Heights, Coach White from Pace Academy, and Coach Gipson from AZ Compass. And I just want to really go through a lot of high school basketball stuff amongst pandemic, amongst everything happening right now. Coach Cook, we'll start off with you, though. I mean, you're sitting right now, getting ready for the season at Hamilton Heights, taking over for your first season now. How are you getting ready for this?
First of all, I'll say I'm super excited and humbled about the opportunity to be the head coach at Hamilton Heights Christian Academy. Things with the pandemic have kind of been crazy, just because we're more known for having international kids. So a lot of our kids have been having trouble these last couple of months getting visas and plane tickets and things like that. So it's kind of been a slow roll for the last month or so, but things are kind of brightening up. We'll have about 7 or 8 guys coming in within the next 7 to 10 days. So I'm super excited about that.
And you, Coach White, we'll get into high school stuff for you in a minute too, but obviously you're wearing the Team USA stuff. You've been a coach part of that's been shut down for at least for the foreseeable future. How are you adjusting this? What's it been like just kind of going through this new level, seeing when USA basketball get back to going?
We're hopeful to get back going this fall with a mini camp. It'll be a much smaller, much condensed version of a mini camp. And hopefully, we'll be able to find some guys for this next year's 16U as well as the Hoop Summit, which is in the spring. But everything is so fluid, you just don't know. But we're being optimistic and we're trying to plan as if. And I think that's the best thing you can do during this time because, there's so many unknowns. And so you just have to kind of be optimistic and try to hope for the best and then just prepare just in case.
Absolutely. And for you, Coach Gipson, obviously you're in Arizona. We talk a lot and you're putting together this Compass team out here. And guys, typically you guys want to have the roster set a little bit ago. But because of pandemic, finding guys that want to come out to Arizona, come out to your location, it's been tough. Getting guys adjusted right before the season gets going now. How are you kind of getting these guys ready?
Right now we probably got about like 7 to 8 guys that's already here. It's been tough, to be honest with you. Just getting kids to come to Arizona, with the state of what's going on in this world. But we've managed to pull some kids in. So right now, man, we in the gym like 5 days a week. We doing our strength and conditioning, doing some skill development stuff, doing some stuff on the court. It's been good. I can say that's why I said I'm blessed, man. Like God has definitely blessed us. We had some kids that commit to us that really wanted to do it. And so that kind of helped us out. But, and we still recruiting right now. It's been tough. We had some kids that we had lined up just like you, Coach, from overseas, and it not going to work.
Right.
It's just not going to work.
And Coach Cook, I want to talk about that because, as you said, Hamilton Heights is known as a program that has a lot of international talent. Majority of you guys are international players. Why have you guys kind of as a program decided to take that route and build it from the international aspect?
To make a long story short, our founder, Duke Stone, he was helping another school out in the Chattanooga area that had some international students. The school was about to close down. He was the pastor of a church here. So in the process of that school shutting down, he invited that school to come over to the church and have their academic stuff there. That school actually had 3 or 4 international students. He ended up getting connected with a lot of people through those students, and that was in 1998. So from 1998 to present day, our founder, Duke Stone, has done a wonderful job in connecting with people from all over the country and giving guys from overseas an opportunity to come to America and change their life. As of right now, our roster stands. We'll have players from 10 different countries across the world on our roster this year. So that should be a lot of fun, different languages, different backgrounds. So it's going to be exciting to see all the guys mesh well this year.
And Coach White, you're at Pace Academy, putting together your team, getting ready for the season. What's that looking like? How are you guys getting guys ready for this year?
We've been able to be in the gym. We actually started official fall workouts, I guess you can say this morning. But we've done some things over the summer. Being an independent school, it gives you a lot more flexibility. A lot of public schools are not able to go right now. And so kind of, we're playing catch up, but we're really trying to increase the lead, so to speak, because we are able to do some things. And so, just player development, just trying to create a mental approach to this whole process of what we could be going through. We might start in January. We might start on time, just trying to develop that mental toughness to just want to get better because regardless of what happens, there's the common denominator is to get better regardless of what happens. And so that's what we're trying to preach to our guys. Just get better. You know, if we don't start on time, still the object is to get better, you know, and the goal is to get better. So that's what we're trying to, you know, sell into our guys.
Now, Coach Gipson, for you guys are part of grind session. What's that looking like? Do you think it's going to start on time? What will traveling look like? What are you kind of expecting for this year right now?
From the couple Zoom calls we've had as like coaches and stuff like that is pretty much we're gonna start as planned. Just the locations will be switched up. Right now it's planned for us to have our own bubbles, you know. So we'll bring out probably I would say about a good 15 teams to a location, and we'll all be there for a couple weeks, and we'll get it in. You know, I'm excited.
Absolutely. And Coach Cook, I mean, all you guys are used to playing these national schedules, these big events throughout the year. When you look at that, I mean, do you think that's something that's going to happen? Events like the Chick-fil-A, a lot of these Palm Beach, I mean, all these Palm City, all the big time tournaments. Do you think these will happen, and will it be of all format? What are you kind of expecting that aspect?
Selfishly, I hope they don't cancel. I know that some events have canceled. Selfishly, as a coach and someone that's eager to get out on the court, get our guys out on the court, I hope those things do not get canceled, but definitely understand for safety precautions and things like that with COVID-19, we have to make sure that we're putting everybody in the right position health-wise to make sure we're not compromising anything. As of right now, the events that we're in, we haven't gotten any notifications as far as cancellation. So we're excited about that aspect, but we are prepared to deal with whatever happens and try to navigate as best as possible to figure out how we can have a season, if it has to get pushed back, if it can start on time. Just like Coach White says, you know, we just have to be prepared, and just the object of everything is just to get better every day.
Coach White, I want to get your thoughts on this. And we see in the college world right now, athletes aren't happy with the schedules being changed, not playing this year. And the biggest thing is saying, well, we're going to school, we're being with the kids anyways. Why can't we go play sports this year? What is your thoughts on that? I mean, do you believe that kids should be able to go play sports, especially if they're in class, if they're going to school every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call, man, because, you know, you want to err on the side of caution with, you know, with everything that's going on. You don't want to be oblivious to it and just say, you know, we'll be fine. You know, because I've heard guys say, you know, well, everybody might as well just get it. And, well, I don't want it. You know, I'm just being honest. I don't want it, and I don't want no parts of it.
Right.
So, but in the same token, you know, I can understand how, you know, if kids are going to school and college, especially colleges, I just think, you know, again, when you look at the model that the NBA has done in the NHL, you know, that works for them because they got a lot of, you know, revenue that they can put into that, a lot of, you know, monies they can put into that. Mm-hmm. But when you're talking about just, you know, even your biggest colleges, you know, that's taking on a big, you know, chunk of change to try to pull that off. And when you start breaking it down to high school and prep schools, man, that money doesn't go that far. I don't care what school you're at, you know. And so I think it's one of those things you just have to kind of like, you have to just have a good temperament about it and just say, you know, if we can do it, we'll do it. If we can't, you know, you just got to find a way. I mean, we had all our spring sports canceled. I felt so bad for those seniors in that last, you know, year. Some of them, you know, we had a soccer team that was probably going to win the state championship. And, you know, those kids, you know, they didn't get a chance to do that. And so I feel extremely bad for them. And so it's almost like having that, to see that, you almost kind of prepares you for what could and what might not happen with this high school, collegiate, you know, prep, whatever the case might be, because we just don't have the sort resources that the professional teams do. So.
And Coach Gipson, you experienced the whole COVID thing kind of hands-on as a team last year in the grind session. It hit you guys, and you guys were able to finish the grind session out, but it was really rushed, couple games a day. What was that like, just being in there and trying to adjust to that when it was wrapping up the grind session last season?
I think for us, man, it was tough, you know, just because it was a lot of the unknown, you know, like we didn't really have enough information on what COVID was or how it truly affected everyone. And so for us, I mean, the grind session, I felt like they did a great job. They kind of squeezed everything into just one day. And we immediately, and we sat on I want to say our vice president sat on hold with Southwest, man. I want to say probably about like 16 hours to get our flights changed, because we actually supposed to depart on Sunday. We ended up, I want to say we departed on like Thursday. Like, it's just tough, man. I totally understand what Coach White's saying. Like, hey, I don't know if it's a right or wrong answer. I mean, 'cause for certain people like the NBA, they got the finances to do those things and to do a bubble and it works. But for the high school level, it's a little bit different. It's a lot of moving pieces, and it's a lot of different high schools across the country, and everybody don't have the resources that everybody has. I think for me, it's like, man, I'd rather be safe, and I'd rather my players be safe, and and I think with their parents, I think that make them a lot more comfortable and feel a lot better. Like if we making sure like their kids safe first.
Mhm.
Couldn't agree more. And Coach Cook, I mean, as I said, you're getting the international kids potentially, and some already are in. They've been with you for a couple of years now. When you look at the aspect, if guys aren't necessarily all able to get out there, the full roster you have planned isn't able to come play this year, how do you kind of plan to fill those roles in those spots before the year gets going?
As of right now, fortunately, we only have 2 players that are in question as far as whether they'll be here. The rest of our roster, like I said, they'll be here within the next 7 to 10 days, which is a blessing. We do have a kid, unfortunately, that's stuck in Brazil, and he has high, expectations for himself to play Division I basketball and have an opportunity to come over here and hoop. He was here last year, went home during COVID. Now there's a travel ban in Brazil, so I don't know if he'll ever have the opportunity to come back within the school year to actually fulfill his dreams, which is hard. As a coach, you want to do whatever you can to help kids fulfill their dreams. And right now, he's just in a situation to where there's absolutely nothing that we can do at this current moment to help him get from Brazil to America. We have connected with some people to try to get him moved to another country to quarantine there and different things like that. But it's been very tough. It's very expensive to do those things. So we are trying to help in every way possible to get those 2 kids here. The one, unfortunately, that's in Brazil, it's not looking very good for him right now. So we're just praying and hoping that things can change for him so he has an opportunity to come.
And Coach White, I mean, you guys obviously aren't college coaches right now, but you guys being at this high level, you guys are kind of putting together, if you want to say college rosters, guys that are just full loaded of D1 talent players. When you're building these rosters, what are you looking for? How do you construct your roster each year?
I mean, for us, it's a little different. We don't get a chance to guys like, we don't be able to recruit at the level that we can go just pick our teams. Mm-hmm. We do get a chance to get a couple kids in. And the fortunate thing for us is we returned 7 of our top guys, our starting 5. We were scheduled to play Chick-fil-A. It got canceled last Thursday. Got a call last Thursday. But fortunately, we'll still be able to hopefully play in Bass Pro and Nike Hoop Hall West, which is in Phoenix, Coach. We might.
Yes, sir. We in it too. We in it too.
With our rosters, it's just a matter of just getting 1 or 2 kids here and there and just trying to make it happen. And we got a good group of guys. We got 4 Division I starters in our lineup. 4 Division I guys in our starting lineup, which makes things a little bit better. But at the same time, again, we're always trying to get better, and we always want to be, competing at a high level. So, in this time, we had 1 kid actually that was a rising 9th grader that, he was probably one of the top 8th graders in the entire state. And his dad was really concerned about us playing this year. He didn't want the kid to lose a year to, COVID, basically, if he doesn't if we don't play, or if we play a half a season or what have you. And I totally understood it. And so he just, he's going to reclass and just come back as a 9th grader next year. Hopefully things will be better. And in this case, that's a smart move. I applaud the dad for doing that. And I think that's, that helps us in the long run. You know what I mean? So everybody's got a different take on it and how they approach it.
So I think the main job for all you guys is getting guys to the next level. That's what makes you guys ultimately happy. You love seeing your guys commit, go to that next level. And Coach Gipson, you've had a few of those guys last year. A lot of those guys actually on the roster last year. When you just see those guys commit, you see them not going to college, you get to watch them play on TV. What goes through your mind? How excited are you to see that?
Man, I'm super excited. I mean, like I told, I was talking to one of our guys the other day, and I was just like, my heart go out to him. I'm praying that that the NCAA, that they have some form of a season. Just because I know how hard those guys, how much work they put in when they were out here with us. And a lot of our guys, when they go back home, like they came back, because Arizona wasn't hit at first with COVID so hard. So they came back out here and worked out at the school. For me, man, that's what it's all about, man. Like, I want to see these guys reach their dreams, and whatever I can do, play a small little part in helping them get there, man. That's what it's all about for me.
And Coach Cook, same thing for you. I mean, you obviously kind of be your first year at the helm of this team now. You're going to get to see these guys. You have a few big-time players as well, rising guys. Who kind of take us through your roster? Who's some of the guys you think are going to step up and just kind of break down your roster for us?
I think a lot of people have come to know Felix Akpara, 2022, big man, 6'10", probably one of the best shot blockers in the country. I personally think he's the best shot blocker in the country. He does so much defensively that will help us throughout the season. Just it's hard to score in the paint against him. We also have Reggie Bass from Indiana. He's one of our domestic kids, United States kids. His recruitment is starting to take off very well, another 2022 kid. We have Jared Valencia, 6'8" wing from Colombia. Luis Duarte, a 6'6" wing from Dominican Republic. Gerald Mises, who's a returning guard that was here last year, a 6'2" point guard from Dominican Republic. And then we have a few other guys that we're super excited about getting. Christian Kakab, a 7-footer from Czech Republic. So our roster is really looking good. We're very heavy in the 2021-2022 class. So we do have a lot of upperclassmen. We do have some lower underclassmen that hopefully they'll just buy into the system for a year or two, play up under these older guys and build their confidence up, and when their numbers call, they'll be ready to play.
Coach, why can't take us through your roster?
Note to self: don't play Hamilton Heights. I mean, we like I say, we got 4 guys in our starting lineup that got Division I offers. We got one kid that's committed to Florida State, Matt Cleveland's top 20 player in the country. Probably gonna be a
yes.
He can play, Coach.
Yeah.
He'll probably be a burger boy, and we got Cole Middleton. He's got a lot of mid-major offers. Madison Durr, same thing, a lot of high mids. And then we got a junior, Josh Reed, who is probably going to pop. Georgia's probably going to offer him sometimes. He has some mid-major offers, but Georgia's been really, really intrigued by him. Tom Crean, we've had a couple conversations today as well as Saturday. And I wouldn't be surprised if they offer him this week, but he's really good. He's a Sam Perkins guy. I call him Sam Perkins because that's who he reminds me of. I don't know if you might not know who Sam Perkins is. That might be before your time, but he's called smooth. Lefty could jump for nothing, but could drain the three, knew how to play, and had a big career. But played with Michael Jordan.
Very skilled, Coach.
Yeah, very skilled. So this kid reminds me exactly of him. He might have a little bit more bounce, but we have that. And then, like I said, we got a host of young kids that are in our 2023 class that we're very excited about, and then along with a good freshman class. And we're looking forward to this kid I was telling you about. He's the real deal. And he'll come in as a 9th grader, but he'll have a 10th grader body and he'll have a 10th grader frame of mind. So, again, just trying to, repeat as champions in the state level and try to compete as hard as we can on the national level and try to put our name in that national bracket. We got a goal of wanting to go to Geico, and, in order to do that, you got to go out and win those games when you play in those national events.
Coach Gipson, take us to Easy Compass.
I mean, we got I feel like he's the best point guard in the country, to be honest with you. Tata Washington returning. I mean, he's a big part of what we do. Then we got Alden Applewhite out of Memphis, who I feel like, man, like super underrated. I mean, he got offers from nothing but high majors. Picking up a lot of interest from a lot of ACC, like Wake Forest, Clemson. He got Texas A&M. He got a lot of big-time schools, and we just picked up another wing out of Vegas named Glenn Taylor, who I think, like, man, he a dog. He got a lot of Pac-12 offers and stuff like that. San Diego State has been in recently, just calling, reaching out about him and stuff like that. And I feel like he's gonna take off. He a kid that I really feel like that. Once you get on this platform on the grind session and people really get to see everything he brings to the table, man, I think that kid, like, the sky the limit for him. And then the last kid, we just picked up a kid, Javon Smalls out of Indiana. He another one of them guys, and, man, we usually do a good job with a couple guys that be under the radar, and I think he one of them other kids that's like under the radar, but he got some stuff to him, and I like those type of guys. And then the last, we got big kid, 6'11", the drummer, Dion. Picking up, he got offers from like TCU, South Carolina, like interest and stuff like that. Still got a long way to go, but I mean, he's young, he play hard, you know. And then 2022 and 2023, like we got some young guys that I really feel like, you know what I'm saying, like if they keep putting in the work, you'll be hearing about their names. And I mean, it's been good for us, man, I'll be honest.
Hey, note number 2, stay away from Arizona campus.
Always.
We still got a long way to go, Coach, I'm telling you.
Yeah, right.
For sure. And I mean, the big thing I think Coach, a lot of guys brought up now is just the underrated guys. We know, especially right now, this next couple of years, we'll have a lot of these underrated players because they know AAU, all this virtual business, all this stuff happening right now. And Coach Cook, I mean, you guys had a lot of guys last year that weren't known hitting the season. You guys were a really under the radar team that popped up last year, made a potential Geico run. You guys were on the borderline of making it. But when you identify these guys that you think could become big time players, and a lot of them obviously do, how do you identify those guys?
I just believe you have to be a firm believer in trusting your eyes. Trust what your eyes see on film. It's very hard when you're recruiting international kids. You don't have an opportunity to see them in game at AAU events and things like that. So when I go over film, I watch 5 or 6 games of the kid. I love watching highlights, but highlights don't give you a great understanding of feel for the game, how hard the guy plays for 32 minutes, whether they're playing 40 minutes. Things like that. So I'll watch 5 or 6 games, do some evaluations, see where the kid fits in our program, what we're trying to do. And then once we do that, that's when I'll start making the appropriate phone calls to people and then start trying to work things out. But I do, like I said, just you have to trust your eyes and what your eyes tell you and then go from there.
All right. I really want to touch on the international talent for a little bit. And Coach White, you're part of USA. You've traveled, you've won gold medals, and you've seen just what this other talent looks like across the world. And I think that's a lot people are starting to realize basketball is now an international sport. Guys that come from all areas of the country, all aspects of the world. When you see that, how special is it just seeing the rise of basketball across the world?
It's great, but it's something that as a country, USA, we really are we're concerned about from a standpoint of just being able to dominate, you know, like we've been able to because the world is catching up. I'll just be honest with you. I mean, Canada is loaded with players galore. Argentina, I mean, you just go around the globe a little bit. The difference with us in the USA is, you know, we like, for example, when we play teams like that, you know, they can send 3-4 guys at us, but we're sending 10 at them. You know, and that's the difference. That's what gives us our edge because we're bringing off a 5-star or bringing off 2 5-stars or 3 5-star guys where they bringing off a guy that's not even in the caliber of a 5-star. And so that's the difference. And so that's our edge right now. And you know, again, but the world is catching up and we understand that. And that's why it's very important that, you know, that's why we've kind of revamped a lot of things we've done. Our directors have done a great job of doing that and making sure that we stay on top. But again, you know, the game of basketball, it has no boundaries. It has no limits to what guys can do. You saw that yesterday. I mean, let's talk about Luka Doncic. I'm sorry. But every time I hear the word Luka, I think of Hawks. My hometown team and how we traded that guy. And we've done it too many times. And that was the last time we've done it. We did it with Chris Paul and we did it with Karl Malone. So it's nothing new, but I love Trae Young. I think he's great. But Luka Doncic was a game changer and we missed it. And, you know, anyway, like Luka Doncic, guys like that, the European game is they're doing it so young. Like the shot clock, we're fighting for the shot clocks and we only got shot clock in 11 states now in the United States out of 50, where the middle school kids in Europe are playing with the shot clock. So that's how they're catching up because they're being able to play the game the way the game is going to be played at the highest level, whether it's FIBA, whether it's collegiate, whether it's professional. They're playing the game the way it's supposed to be played at the highest level, and they're doing it at the middle school level.
It's a huge point, Coach Gipson. I want to bring that up. Is having a shot clock, do you think as a country we need to mandate that in terms of basketball? No matter what level you're playing at, what state you're at, that you need to have a shot clock when you're playing basketball.
I do. I really do. I think because like before this, I mean, I coached in college for a little bit, and then I went back to high school, and the game was just so much slower, and the kids then just the pace of the game it was just so much slower. So like when I got here at Compass, when we was on the grind session, just the speed of the game, and then when you're playing against elite athletes, like that shot clock, teaching our guys, hey man, we got to get up the floor quick. Hey, keep the ball moving. Keep the ball moving and stuff like that. It just helped, man. And then even right now, like, because we got a lot of guys that's coming from where they didn't play under a shot clock. So we got the shot clock going in our practices and stuff like that. And just them, if I could tell you how many times the shot clock didn't went off, because guys they just not aware of it. And they just like, oh, coach, my bad. I'm like, nah, you got to recognize it. It's right up there above the rim, but teaching them those things at a younger age, man, I think that already have our youth like prepared to play under that shot clock, And I mean, I honestly feel like just going back to like the younger ages, like the 10-year-olds, 8, 9-year-olds, and just really getting them grounded in their fundamentals, like that's what's key, because when I look at a lot of the overseas guys that we've had, they've all been so fundamentally sound. They really just know how to play basketball, the right way, and know how to spacing on the floor, how to play with the right pace and everything. The only thing a lot of those guys have lacked, they lack the athleticism, that we have as Americans. But I think the shot clock is key. We got to have it. Arizona doesn't have it, but we don't, we're an independent school. We don't play locally that much. And so we get to play on the grass session. So we're allowed to play under that shot clock.
And for you, Coach Cook, when you are evaluating, you look at these guys from all over the world, where would you say some of the hot spots? I think Canada's one of the obvious ones. Some European countries are, but where would you say? What's your top 3 or 5 places that you think are really loaded across the world?
When I give this answer, I don't want the coaches to go start looking in our spots. All right, but we've had tremendous success in Dominican Republic. Had a lot of success in Nigeria, Lagos, and Abuja. Those areas have been great. So Dominican Republic, Nigeria, and then probably I would say Russia. Russia has been very, very good to the Hamilton Heights program. That's where we get a lot of our kids from those 3 areas.
And Coach White, you did mention, well, I think obviously who's the best country for basketball right now? It's still America. I think we still are pretty much a lot above because of the depth we have in terms of talent. But when you're talking about USA Olympics basketball in the future, we already saw what happened last FIBA. We obviously don't have the best of the best playing, but we see this talent. Canada could put together a full roster of NBA players now. A lot of the countries are coming up. Do you see Team USA being challenged when we have a real team, LeBron, KD, those guys, being potentially challenged in the future?
No. If all those guys play, no. You're talking about the best players in the world. They have a Luka Doncic, but we got a Kevin Durant and LeBron James, James Harden. We can throw so many guys at you. So the depth, it keep us in a good spot, especially at the national team level. I just, again, on the lower levels, it's a little different because, again, you're talking about teenagers and you're talking about, so that, again, all that stuff plays a factor. But at the end of the day, I think our depth is still superior to any other country because of what we, the sheer athleticism that our kids have over like kids that, might be playing in different countries. Again, I think Coach mentioned some of those countries that some of his kids come from, but it's other places too, like New Zealand and Australia. They got great basketball players, and so it's a world game. It's a worldwide game, and so you just have to know that load your roster up. If it's USA, we got to make sure we got enough guys to be able to be in a position where we can overwhelm those teams with the amount of depth we have.
To stick with you real quick, Coach White, who would you say maybe are some of the countries in the future in maybe 10 to 20 years that might start really competing, might become the next like Spain, those states we've seen have like the Gasol brothers? Who's like the next couple countries you see really being the faces of other countries when it comes to Olympics?
I think definitely Canada. I think Argentina. I think Africa is on the way. They were qualifying for the Olympics. One of my former players is an assistant coach with the African national team, and they qualified for the Olympics. A lot of people didn't think they were going to be able to do that. They did that. So I think those teams are in the front. And you still got the regulars, like I say, Australia, New Zealand. Russia is going to be a very physical, but they're going to also know how to play. And so, again, those are the types of teams that you got to be mindful of. I just think we can't sit on our laurels. We can't get complacent. I always say complacency will get you replaced. And so, and that's something that we understand at USA Basketball. So we like I said, our directors have done a great job of revamping a lot of stuff we do. Because, for a while, we could just put out roll out the ball and put out the best 10 guys and we could, pretty much dominate. But we understand that might not get it done now. And like guys like Don Showalter, who's won 10 gold medals, I mean, again, he's part of that revamping to make sure that we are in a good place to make sure that we stay ahead of the game.
No doubt. Coach Gipson did mention something last time, and that's international players are coming in a lot more skilled, a lot more just ready to play at this level. And talking to college coaches, they also talk about guys that play the prep level are a lot more ready to go for college basketball because they play against the best of the best. How important is it, and what are some of the biggest benefits you see for guys playing prep then go to the college?
I think they're able to compete against some of the top players in the country. I mean, prime example, we had played like Our Savior Lutheran like a year ago, and at the time they really didn't. We were pretty much unknown, you know what I'm saying? And they had been on the grind session, I want to say 2 years then. They were pretty good. They were real good, to be honest with you. And we had a kid, Sadrak, which is Sadrak is still here. I'm so sorry, I forgot him. Sadrak Nagag, and the coach after the game, he said, "Where did that kid come from?" I said, "Man, this kid been here," and just he was like, "Whoa, like he is extremely good." And I'm like, "Yeah, he can play, man." But like he said, he was like, "Yo, man, like this what my kids looking for. They want to play against the best of the best." And I think doing this, man, playing on a like the prep level, like when you get to college, man, you got to compete every single day. There's no days off. It's gonna be a guy there. They got the same accolades that you had, did the same, made some of the same accomplishments. And if you're not ready to compete, that's why a transfer portal looked the way it looked. Guys not ready to compete. And I just feel like, man, like just even our new guys right now, they saying like, yo, man, it's tough every day. Like you competing in practice, and then when you get in games, you got to compete against some of the best teams in the country. So, I mean, I love it. My staff, they love it. And then that's what we're about, just preparing young men to compete. It's the same way when you get into work in corporate America, you're gonna have to compete.
Absolutely. And Coach Cook, what's your advice to guys going through this recruiting process, working on the commitments? What's your advice? How are you helping these guys through the process?
Right now, I'm just I was at Life University last year, so I have the opportunity to still. They haven't kicked me out of my my Synergy account yet. So I've just been spending a lot of time just watching film with the guys that we do have here, watching the teams that are recruiting them, seeing kind of where they fit within the roster. Most of our guys are 2022, so we're just kind of projecting who's going to leave, who's going to be there. And also, I'm just telling my guys as well, man, find the school that fits you best. Find a school that makes you feel like family. Find a school that's going to help you get a degree, and find a school that's going to eventually try to help you make money playing basketball.
Mm-hmm. And Coach White, you mentioned Matt Cleveland obviously committed to Florida State already, and this is a year where you talked to all these guys. They weren't originally planning on committing this early. There's more commitments than there's ever been heading before the season's even started. Was that something that kind of shocked you, that guys are committing this early, or were you kind of expecting guys to maybe wait till the spring if they could see if they could go on some visits or not?
Well, I think guys would have waited later than what they're waiting now. Like they're jumping off the board quick. I think I've never seen this many top 25 guys committed this early. Mm-hmm. And, again, that's one of those things, whereas these kids are not even going on visits. And that's just show you what kind of, where we're at right now as a country and where we're at right now in the world. Because, again, these kids would take all 5 visits and they'll, have a big, shindig in November and say, look, this is where I'm going. And now they're saying, look, I'm out, I'm gone. And again, like, Matthew Cleveland, prime example guy that I coach, and, he jumped off that board quick, and not saying he wouldn't have done it, if this wasn't going on. But I do think with everything that's going on, it didn't, it made it kind of a little more so where he did it based on that than just doing it just arbitrarily. So I think that you're going to see that more and more. And then some of these colleges, you got some of the mid-major guys, It's hard for them to take a guy that they might have offered a scholarship to 2 months ago, and they haven't had a chance to see the guy play live. They thought they would have, and it's tough. And so as a college, I mean, I've coached college a couple of years, and I like to see guys play live because I want to see what they do when they have to get subbed out the game and when that's not on a streaming broadcast. I want to see how they look when they check out the game, and are they mad, are they fussing with the coach, and because those things you can't see, on Baller TV or what have you, or whatever the case might be. So, again, it's just to each his own preference, but I think these kids are committing because that they're looking at the elephant in the room.
Coach Gipson, do you think that these guys that aren't necessarily able to go on these visits get the connection that way, will there be an impact on the college world in a year or so transfer-wise? Will there be any kind of impact because the guys committing this early, not getting all the resources and info they possibly usually could have got?
I don't know. I think it's going to be tough for a lot of kids. I mean, like Coach White just said, man, you pretty much viewing the campus through Zoom, a lot of them not able, like outside of the Zoom calls and the phone calls, you're not able to get the face-to-face. And I'm a type of person, I like to be face-to-face. I like to be able to see someone, see how they respond and how I'm talking to them and things of that nature. So like for the kids, man, it got to be tough, man. And I know for parents, at the end of the day, it's the kids make the decision, but I know they rely on their parents a lot, and not having the opportunity to do that. I mean, you can make a decision and say you're going to commit somewhere, and then you end up going there and you end up saying like, hey, man, this maybe wasn't what I thought it was going to be, So, I just think it's tough, but, that's just where we at in the country right now. And you just got to try to do as much information as you can get on these universities, and lean on your parents, lean on, some of the people, your high school coaches, your AAU coaches, and try to make a decision from there. I pray, man, that each kid that chose the school they chose, man, that they work out for them, because the transfer portal is scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that thing it's going to get more scarier once they approve this thing where the kids can transfer without a penalty in January. It's coming. Yeah. It's coming, and so it's going to get more scary for high school kids. I'm so worried about high school kids in this recruiting process. So I can, again, that's part of my pitch, and as far as trying to advise, say, hey, you better jump on it if you can. If you feel that good about it, go ahead and jump on it, because when this transfer rule hits, it's going to change the game for high school kids.
And so, Coach White, we'll just kind of go off you with that. I mean, you kind of talked a little about that, but how are these guys going to handle it? What's it going to look like for the guys that maybe are still underrated players in 2021 and so on? How are they going to find the spot in the college level?
Division II, Division III.
There you go, Coach.
That's what's going to happen. I think it's going to bump. I think it's going to shift things. Kids that normally probably would have been a mid-major kid might go down to a low major. A low major kid might end up being a Division II kid. And I think it's going to shift everything down, because that's just the way, when you think about it in reality, if I'm a college coach and I've been a college assistant coach, if I can get a kid that's got college experience, I will take him, if I got to win right now, over a kid that has never played a game of college high school basketball, unless he's a top 25 kid. And if I'm a mid-major, I'm not getting a top 25 kid. So I got to go take the kid that was a top 25 kid that transferring, and I got to go try to make that kid my guy. And so, again, that's just the way it is. And I think, again, those numbers, again, it just don't favor a high school kid. And I think that's been the holdup from the NCAA with this whole vote and this whole rule. I think they really are concerned about what's going to happen, but they can't stop it because, again, it's prohibiting guys with the pro level and, guys being able to go straight from high school. So they've got to do something to kind of jargon that. And so I think that's what they're doing. But, again, it's not because that's what they want to do. They want to make it, just as good for the high school kid. But, again, if I'm a college coach, I'm going to take a guy with experience over a high school kid all day. If I got to win to keep my job, that's what I'm going to do.
That's true.
Stick with you real quick, Coach White. Are you for or against the transfer rule then in college?
50-50, man. Mm-hmm. Because, again, you got some situations where a kid, if he transfers and he can play right away, that's good for that kid. And you always want the best for the kid at the end of the day. But then I got a heart for the high school kid because that's what I coach. And, if I got a kid right now that's a high mid-major kid or a mid-major kid, and he ends up having to go Division II because there are no spots or no situation for him that fits because everybody's grabbing up all these transfers. To about 800 transfers, man. I mean,
A lot.
just think about 800 kids being automatically eligible going into the next year. That does not favor a high school kid at all. So, like, I would just say, again, I'm 50-50 because I'm all about kids and being successful. And, you know, no matter if it didn't work out, I don't think you penalize a kid because it didn't work out. But at the same time, I don't want to penalize a high school kid because something didn't work out for another kid, you know. So it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough call. I think that's why it's been a lot of delay with this because there's so many factors in this that people don't see. You know, they don't look at it from both sides of the coin, but the high school kids are going to be greatly affected by this. And this could be, you know, a landmark type of decision.
Well, another big decision has been the G League alternate option now, and eventually it's going to lead to guys going straight to the NBA out of high school. We know it's going to happen in the next couple of years as well. Goal is kind of set at 2022 right now. Coach Gipson, you have one guy for sure that is in that top 25 mix in SADA, which will most likely be landing some of those options and have the opportunity if he wants it when the time comes. What's your thoughts on the G League and the pro route? Is that something you think would be a smart wise for different guys? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on the situation. You know, I mean, just from being on the grind session this year, we had Jalen Green, Daisha Nix, and Isaiah Top. All three of those guys did it. I mean, and I would say, I mean, we played against two of those guys. We played against Jalen Green and Daisha Nix. I would say both of those guys they're good, you know, and I think they could benefit from going to the G League. For SADA, you know, I mean, I don't know. You know, for him, I think he's definitely able to do it, and I think if he wanted to do it, he could be successful at doing it. But at the same time, I think he a kid that liked the thought of college, you know, and so I just think it's to each their own, you know, because some kids want to get that college experience to be on the campus and, you know, to meet new people and, you know, and travel and build those camaraderies with, you know, before you really a pro, you know, but. To me, it's to each their own. You know, I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. I mean, the three guys that I've seen this year, I think all three of those guys, it made sense for them to do that. You know, but I wouldn't want to see like where every kid thinking they can do it. You know, you got to play at a different level. You know what I'm saying? And I think all three of those guys played at a high level, you know, and I think SADA definitely plays at a high level. And I think if the rule changes, I think he definitely has the ability to do it. But at the same time, I think he'll be successful if he went to college too.
I can add to those three guys because we had them all at USA Basketball. Those guys are like they're legitimate candidates for that, you know.
Yeah.
Those guys are legitimate candidates for this. So I think and I don't want to, just bore this a little bit, but I just think that's the balancing factor that the NCAA thinks that they have. Meaning, so some kids that would have been, going to Duke, Kentucky, or Kansas, or what have you, are now going to the NBA, and so that frees up those. But it's only like 10 spots like that. It's not like it's 40 spots. It's not like it's 50 spots. And so, again, like those kids are definitely deserving, and they're really, really good basketball players. So if you're going to do – those kids will be, straight from the league, straight from high school to the league if that rule's in place. And that's coming too. Mm-hmm. So that's something everybody got to think about.
Coach Cook, what's your thoughts on the whole G League and pro route now?
I second to what the coaches are saying. Again, there's not that many spots. So I think that if the kid thinks that that's the best opportunity for them, take it. You have to have confidence in yourself. I just would, hope that they're getting the right guidance from the right people. I just know some people's circumstances are different. Some kids want to go after the money now because they have family and people to take care of, and they don't want to wait. So I think it's just to each his own. If it fits what the kid's trying to do, why not take it?
Absolutely. I have two more questions for each one of you guys, and I want to touch up. A lot of you guys all brought the importance of seeing a guy off the court, seeing his attitude. Well, that's a huge thing as being a basketball player. And I think some people, you guys probably all seen the video of Luka, obviously, before the game-winning shot, flipping the water bottle and kind of doing that. That's something that a lot of people look at and say, no coaches usually preach and aren't necessarily on the side of guys messing around maybe during a timeout, especially in a game-winning situation. But Luka obviously panned down, did what he did yesterday. What kind of was your thoughts on that?
I just want you guys to be locked in throughout the whole game. I think The play that Luka made was an amazing play. And I think that just kind of comes down to being locked in, determined to win a game. I know a lot of people had questions about Luka coming over here. I just saw some clips today on Twitter where a lot of analysts were saying that he wasn't the next Larry Bird and Jason Kidd, not Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and things like that. And it's kind of panned out. So I just think that's just kind of a testament of just always being locked in and being prepared for the moment.
How about you, Coach White?
I mean, it's the playoffs. It's emotional. You know, I'm not going to dog him for that. I mean, that was a big shot. That was a big play. He could have easily missed that shot. You know, most times you're going to miss that shot, but he made it. Right. And I'm not going to be one to say, you know, he should, you know, how he should be react or what have you. It's the playoffs. They tied the series up with probably some people think the team that could win it all. And so he did it without his second best player. I mean, so I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that's going to be, you know, I think we're in an age now we have to adjust to the way things are. I've been coaching a long time, over 20 years, and I've seen different, you know, phenomenons come and go, and I've seen, you know, how things go. But my biggest thing is you have to be ready. You have to be ready to adapt. You got to be ready to adjust. I tell people all the time, players today the players 5 years ago were different from the players today. And 5 years is not a long time. You know, these players today are a totally different breed than just 5 years ago. 5 years, it'd be different if I said 50 years ago. I'm saying 5 years ago. I know kids that I coached 5 years ago, totally different mentality than these kids now. So I think you got to kind of like figure out how to adjust. And I think it's a lesson for coaches. You know, when you ask that kind of question, you got to figure out, you know, where you are as a coach and what you stand and what you go for, what you don't go for, and all that stuff. So everybody has a different opinion. But for me, hey man, you tie the series up 2-2 against a, you know, projected number, you know, team that's gonna win it. I need you to be that excited because I need to go win game 3.
For sure. How about you, Coach Gipson?
I think it's more so like you knowing your guys. You know what I'm saying? Different guys get into it different ways. You know, I think when you look at Luka, he been a pro since he was 16. Yeah. So like these situations are not new to him, even though it's a different level. But the situation, he's been there before. He know what it feel like. You know, that's why you always see him. He's always relaxed. You know, he seemed like he never gets sped up at all. This just a normal day for him, and it didn't matter who was in front of him. And you could look at it the whole series like he a pro. You know, he's special. So for me, I mean, we got different guys on our team. Different guys deal with stuff different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like some guys, I had guys on my team that like real free and always smiling, always laughing. And I'm a more of an intense guy. But like Coach just said, man, like, you know, as time goes as coaches, we got to adjust, you know. I can't coach the same way my high school coach coached me. You know, like that don't work nowadays. I probably wouldn't have a job, you know. Right now, man, I think for me, and I tell our guys this all the time, man, hey, I learn from y'all every day. I'm always learning. I come in the gym wanting to learn something. I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be the smartest person in the gym because if I'm the smartest person in the gym, I need to get out of there. You know, absolutely. And that's just how I am, man. I want to learn.
You preaching over there, man. Where the offering take? What you preaching over there? Where the offering play there, man?
That's just how I am, Coach, man. Because what I'm learning, man, as I get older, man, like I'm like, man, I ain't cool no more, you know. And so the kids, man, they always
as bad as we want to be cool.
So I'm always trying to, man, stay up on everything, man, and always just trying to be like a listening board for these guys, man, you know, because I don't know everything, you know. So I mean, so when I look at Luka, it's like, man, you got to do your thing, man. And hey, if I got him on my team, hey, I'm trusting him, whatever he do.
Right. Bottles too. Yeah, let's go.
For sure. And my final thing I was like wrapping up with every single show I always do is just talk about building a legacy for each one of you guys. And Coach Cook, we'll start with you. When you are done stepping away from coaching in the future, what do you want your legacy to be, and what do you want to remember for?
I just want to be remembered as somebody that loved the kids and it was always an advocate for them, and someone that was, you know, always there in their corner. Obviously, we have a big responsibility when we're dealing with kids, and and their futures, just making sure that we're doing the right thing by them at all times, making sure they stay on their academics, making sure that I don't know people's faith base, but I'm a Christian. So I just want to make sure that I'm always leading guys in a godly way and things like that. And then I just want to be able to 5, 10, 15 years from now, go to guys' weddings and see them, see them get married, see them have kids, and ultimately just seeing the guys that I've had an opportunity to influence to have prosperous lives. So I'm just all about the kids and all about them having successful lives once they leave me.
Absolutely. How about you, Coach White?
For me, man, I consider myself the way I look at this whole thing. This is a ministry for me. It just happened to be basketball, man. I mean, it could have been working at McDonald's as a cruise ship leader or something, but this is where it brought me, and I'm excited that it brought me here because I love basketball. I love everything about basketball, and so I consider myself more or less like a bridge to where the kids want to be or where they want to be, whether it's basketball or not. I just look at myself and what I do as a bridge to where they want to be, and so I lay myself down and make sure that they, get across and get to where they want to be and do it in a fashion where they learn a lot while they're walking across that bridge and getting the most out of just the experience of being able to play and the success and all the accolades and all that stuff. That stuff comes second. I think you got to build people first. You build people first, all the success will come your way. And I think I try to tell a lot of younger coaches that you gotta do the right thing first, and all the other stuff that'll come. All the wins, all the championships. I tell people all the time that stuff came second. It didn't come first.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Coach Gipson, what do you want your legacy to be?
For me, man, it's more so just that I walked right before these kids, man. Like that I set the right example for them. For me, man, I truly care about kids, man. Like I had great high school coaches, great college coaches. So for me, man, I just want to make sure that like I'm setting the right example for them. That like Coach Cook said, that, hey, man, like I can go to their weddings. That I know that, hey, I'm preparing men. You know what I'm saying, for you to be a good father, to be a good husband. You know what I'm saying, one day, and that that I know I can trust that, hey, man, this kid, when stuff get hard on them, and when life hits you, that you ain't gonna run. You're gonna run straight to the fire and say, hey, man, I'm trying to put some work in. Whatever I got to do. And I think for me, that every day, that's what I'm trying to be a voice for these kids, telling them, hey, man, I know everything look good right now, but you're gonna have some rough days. You're gonna have some peaks and some valleys, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a Christian and I love God, and all our guys call me, they'll say, man, Coach Gipson preaching again, but I feel like, man, if I don't do it, you know what I'm saying, I don't want you to cross my path or come back and later in life and be like, hey, Coach, why you ain't tell me this? Why you ain't tell me life was going to be like this? Why you ain't tell me it was hard, you know what I'm saying, trying to be a husband at times? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm preaching to these guys every single day because I truly want them to be successful, not just in basketball, but just in life, so that's my legacy, man. If I can wake up and all these guys, they finish in college, they've been able to pursue their dreams in whatever field it may be. You know what I'm saying? For me, right. I'm blessed. Like, that's my win right there. Like, I tell our guys all the time, like, yeah, I want to win some games here and there, but at the end of the day, like, when you leave here and you have success, that's a win for me. I'm counting that as a win in my life, because I know I played a part up in that, so that's it for me.
So should we call you Deacon? Should we call you Deacon instead of Coach?
Hey, man, it is what it is, whatever you want to call me, man. But hey, man, I just love what I do, man. I'm passionate, man.
Absolutely, coaches. Well, definitely appreciate all you guys for coming on today, and look forward to see what guys got next for you guys this upcoming season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, God bless you guys.
Man, God bless you. Y'all be blessed, brothers.